Well, good Sunday afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Thank you very much for taking time out on your Sunday to join us here. And we'll see how many of the Eagle fans. We know we got Logan Motorsport here. We got Lady Libra in the house. What's up, Lady Libra? And, of course, we have Holly Pierce. Holly Pierce, I didn't realize she was on Twitter as Holly Cowboys Nation. Shout out to her as well. So we've had, since we've last gotten together, the schedule release. We've got George Pickens in here, and we got the season on tap coming up. One other thing we also have going on too is the countdown to the season. I was going to see if for some reason, I guess my Wi-Fi's not on. That's why. I was trying to connect to my camera because we've got our countdown clock officially counting down, and we're sitting here at 109 days, 3 hours, 17 minutes, and 5 seconds away from kickoff. Oh, now it's 0 seconds. But let me bring in my man, Loyal Cowboy. Shout out to Loyal Cowboy. Loyal Cowboy, I appreciate you always sending me notifications in case I missed some shit to get out here so that way we can spread it to Cowboys Nation. So, Loyal, your thoughts so far on the Dallas Cowboys schedule? Do you like it? Or are you going to be like the Eagle fans and be whiny little bitches and cry about our schedule? We don't play, home games back to back. You know what I mean?
Well, it's going to. It's a prove it for us. You look at the 49ers schedule, man. They got the easiest schedule.
Oh shit, yeah.
They got a cakewalk schedule. I don't want that. Because that just shows, because then if we did start winning, then everybody would say, oh, well, you didn't play anybody. But my thing is this: if you're going to make a push, if it was meant to be, then we need to play the best teams.
Amen.
Get our team's confidence up.
Well, I tell you what I like is, it's going to be a new season, new coaches and everything else. We've got so many different players and stuff. And football nowadays, really, you start looking at it and saying the first couple of games are really like preseason. Very rarely do you have guys coming out of the box that are like really, really good, except for usually your worst teams, because they're playing everybody in preseason because they're still trying to figure out who should stay and who should go. Your good teams usually don't play anybody in preseason. You're not seeing Jalen Hurts playing in preseason. You're not seeing their starters playing. So week 1, 2, 3 are typically when you're starting to get actually in shape and get used to being out on the field. For us, because we are a new team, you got to think that we're going to try and get some work in preseason and try and get these guys on the same page. And maybe we can come out and play a little bit better, hopefully, than, say, the Eagles. We won't have as much rust. But then again, I could be completely wrong. We could be rusty as hell, and the Eagles could be in, tip-top shape, excited about having their season opener kickoff party and Super Bowl party in one.
I'm just excited. We're getting everybody signed, getting the deals done. Well, we need to get Micah Parsons, but besides that, everybody else is pretty much signed. So that's good, because in the week 1 for OTAs and stuff like that, everybody will show up. There's no excuses. Now we just got to stay healthy in OTAs. Hopefully these guys are out here, going to the gym, staying in shape, stuff like that, so they don't come to practice jacked up.
Okay, so what happened to? What happened to my feed there? Okay. Oh, there we go. Logan Motorsports, Eagle fans, you whiny little biatches, okay? You know what?
Enough is enough. I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in.
Logan Motorsports. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Yes, you are the defending Super Bowl champions. You guys keep trying to tell us that you're going to go 14-3. that you guys are the greatest thing since forever, that you are dominating everybody. You got the best offensive line in football. You've got the best quarterback. Lord knows Philly 500 says you got the best passing game. You got the best receivers. You got the all-world defense that's just going to get better. The people that you lost on your roster, you saying that you've upgraded with the other people that are there. And you're crying because you don't have back-to-back home games. Well, brother, let me remind you that the Dallas Cowboys are playing the season opener on Thanksgiving and Christmas, along with not one, not two, not three, but 4 Thursday night games. An NFL record. NFL record. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is going through anything like that. Bro, we're playing you on a short week, okay? We play on Monday night, then play you in Dallas, and then Thursday play the Kansas City Chiefs. Then the following Thursday, we play in Detroit. So don't come crying, we don't have back-to-back. Bro, we got it just as tough as you, if not harder. Thursday night games are a bitch. Thomas Garrett in the house. What's up, Thomas? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What are these sports? What are these sports?
Oh, the butthurt Eagle fan. We don't have back-to-back home games. The NFL's so mean to us.
You talking about you gonna repeat? Talking about you gonna go 16-1 and all of this, and now you crying about this and crying about that. Man, give me a break, man.
I'm serious.
Come on.
Again, they just won the Super Bowl. They tell us how good it is. There's Lady Libra in the house and Gina Dallas Diva. How you all doing? And Gina Dallas Diva. I thought the way they talk about the Eagles, that they, they're like the Marine Corps. They can go anywhere, in a moment's notice and get some. But now they're crying that they don't have back-to-back home games. Moore, appreciate you being here. I can't pronounce that first name. And if somebody wants to help me out trying to figure that one out, I would love to figure it out. Dakiria Moore. Welcome. A new lady in the house. We love the ladies in the place with the style and the grace. Nobody over here crying about the schedule. We're good. I'm excited for the smoke. Bill Rent Free. Okay. Cowboyjob.com. You can call me D. All right. Hey, D. How you doing, D? Rose, let's see. Mark, stay home or else it'll be your last stream. Is that a threat about me going to Philly? Oh, shit. Just because they said don't go, I'm going to have to go now. I'm going to have to go. Thoughts on that?
Even what's the name was saying, he was even telling all the Cowboy fans don't go to the game.
Brian,
what's the name on NFL Network?
Yeah.
I forgot his name because he used to play with Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got Eagle fans that are like, yeah, come on. Are they trying to make me the pig roast?
About Keyshawn Johnson?
No, I think Brian Boldinger.
Oh. Baldy.
Yeah.
Boldinger.
Yeah, Brian Boldinger. Yeah. Telling us to stay away.
Go up in there with my cross on. That's all I need.
Well, here's the deal.
My cross and some garlic, and then go.
I've got Leo. I've got my friend Kayla that's down in Waynesboro, too. A big guy, huge guy. He's an Eagle fan and all that. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'll get you taken care of and all that. But we were looking at tickets, and lower-level tickets are $800 right now. $800.
Which game's that for?
The Cowboys-Eagles.
At home?
No, in Philly.
Oh, in Philly, it's
and that stadium is a dump. It's really a dump.
It's banner night for Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah, when the game was first announced, the cheapest seats I could find were the upper level where you get beat down, where all the fights happen. There was one ticket for $466, And
that's a that's a hood section of the stadium.
yeah,
That's a ghetto section.
yeah. So the question is, do we have a chance at all?
We're going to attend the Niners game next year down in Dallas.
That'll be
Not this coming year, but the next year, 2026.
Let me look at SeatGeek again. Let's see. Let's see how bad it is.
Cousin, yeah, Troy, I was talking to my cousin this morning. We're going to Vegas.
Unleash the Kraken.
Holy shit.
I kind of wish I could go to Vegas, but I don't think I'm going to have this surgery in time to get down there.
Wow.
I'm going to try to
This shit is getting crazy. Now, listen to this. Standing room only tickets are $492.
Whoa.
Okay. That's there's one or two tickets, $492. The next price ticket, corner end zone, section 233, that's nosebleed, $588.
Oh, hell no.
And from there,
boy, Philly likes to charge up
shit.
the wazoo, don't they?
They've got some upper level tickets that are literally now, I mean, they've been going up. Literally 874, 50-yard line, upper level. Holy shit. This is the biggest, this will be the biggest game in Philly history, I believe.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing, Mark. How's everybody doing?
Here's Momo. Go ahead, tell us how great your team is.
I want to say this. If I go to games anymore, because I just think the tickets, gouging the ticket price is ridiculous. I would have to hang out with friends and go to eat around people. To go to the game, it's not even funny anymore. It's just a joke. And I'd rather be around friends and barbecue outside.
You got to be careful too, because I mean, look what happened. Mark, remember your guy that went to the game in Washington and that drunk dude stole on him?
Yeah, I was like that. Here's what I was thinking about though. If I did get jacked up, it would go viral. Okay, I'm sure I could get the medical expenses covered. Okay,
anybody that's going to fight at a football game needs to go to a psychiatrist, man. That's how I feel.
Okay, but seriously, I could go. I'm trying to remember what comedian was. He was going through. He's saying, "Fuck the police, fuck the police." Go up there and say, "Fuck the Eagle fans."
Over a football game, you need to go see a psychiatrist.
And here's another thing I was saying. Cause I've been watching this thing on A&E. I think it's A&E. We're talking about the jails and the stuff like that in the stadiums. You know, they basically give these drunk ass folks a slap on the wrist. Hey, I'm gonna because they see somebody fighting, they got the cameras all around. They basically say, the guy's drunk, but they don't arrest the guys for being belligerent, being drunk, public intoxication. When you're in the crowd, that's public intoxication. You should spend some time in the slammer for a couple of days because. That's my opinion.
Well, Momo, Lloyd, you remember the game when we went up to Cleveland, like last year?
Yeah, I remember there was a fight broke out there. They had it on TV. They had the thing with it.
Momo and I was at the game, but me and my cousin, we was even out. The game was over.
Yeah,
it was after the 2-minute one. The game was over. Everybody was leaving out. We're leaving out, and I saw about 5 guys with A&E jackets on, and we were like, "The fuck, A&E?" And they had the big camera, and it was.
Oh, your internet,
Thomas, man, your shit. We're getting like every other word, man.
On Charlie Brown.
Well, I remember it was 2 years ago. I was at the Commanders game. I don't think with that fight that broke out in front of me. Okay, go ahead, Thomas.
Okay, and they had a guy in handcuffs. You would think they would be walking. No, they was carrying him. They was carrying him. And
Internet's bad.
It's still bad.
One of the ladies, I was like, I asked, I said, "Damn, baby, what the hell is going on?" And she looked at me. She said, "We take him one downstairs." I'm like, "Oh shit!" And that was when she had told me about Ed Neal was doing a documentary on all 32 stadiums in America.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, that fool that we had at the Commanders game, the first half, he started some stuff, right? And then somebody got in security and they took him and he left. And then he came back the second half.
Yeah, because they allowed them to come back, Mark.
And he came back
to come back because they don't want. They do that. If you watch the A&E thing, I watch a bunch of them. Most of those things, they got the cameras. They go back and talk to you, and his friends are there, and they will assure you, "Oh, he's not going to be a problem. He's okay now. He just a little emotional. He got caught up in the game." They send him right back out there, knowing that he's going to get in trouble. Once you get in trouble once, you're going to get in trouble again.
And that's what this guy did. Yep.
Yeah.
He came on over there and stole that guy. Yeah.
Now I grew a Momo on that.
It's the only thing you agree on me. All right now.
Well, the thought is we're thinking about getting like an Airbnb up in Pennsylvania, outside Philly, and going to a sports bar, which might be even worse because that means we're going through neighborhoods.
I wouldn't go to a sports bar in Philadelphia and being a Dallas fan. I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah. What's the worst thing can happen? I get shot?
No, because people get liquid courage and then they go crazy.
They'll cut you. Well, words ain't gonna bother me personally, but I just know people in Philly are crazy because they'll come up and do altercations. Ain't just one coming up to you; it's several of them come up to you in Philly.
The Superman complex.
That's true. Yeah, you're on their turf.
So you'll be a group of 3 or 2. The guy said, "Why you in?" And I bar. You don't even live around here. You don't, this, that, and they go on this tangent. Mark, I do want to speak on something. I do want to speak on something and I just know how it is being in a locker room. Here's the thing for me. What makes a good football team is a good locker room. As the best player, you have the best players all you want on your team. He may vibe with everybody in there, but it's always that one person. But you got to have good people in your locker room. He might not be the best player on there, but he gets along and he keeps the coaches and he leads that locker room where the coaches don't have to go behind and he's there to control the locker room. So nobody get out of hand, nobody's fighting, nobody is jealous. He controls the locker room. And that's what makes a good locker room. Not only leaders, but somebody else in there. Because if you got a bunch of Indians and not enough Chiefs, is the locker room going to be fucked up, and the play in the field is going to show. I've seen this too many times.
And your point about that, what you trying to say? You trying to say that about my team?
No, I didn't say anything about your team. I didn't say anything about no. I'm just saying this in football in general.
Oh, that's agree. But you know what? I played Friday night, Cam Newton, where he was talking about crash outs. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And it was kind of funny because I played that clip that everybody started playing and things like that. But he's right about that you do need to you got to have a blend of people in there. Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, Charles Haley is truly a crash out. Okay. The shit I can tell you about Charles Haley is you better have your head on a swivel. I don't care if it's in a game, if it's in practice, or in the freaking locker room. He was a prankster, and he will go after your ass in a minute, okay?
Yeah.
You might turn your head, and all of a sudden you got something in your face you're not expecting, if you know what I mean, okay?
He used to ride Joe Montana about his nose and his family.
Yeah. And I can tell you, and here's where I can tell you what happened with him in that locker room, why San Francisco got him out there. Because when they lost in the playoffs with Steve Young, Charles went up there because, see, Charles, winning is something he owned. And if you lose, he ain't got shit for you except an ass whipping. And after they lost in the playoffs, he made a beeline to Steve Young to kick his ass.
Right.
And that's where, boom. Now, Jimmy Johnson gets him here. Now, Jimmy Johnson, and I got this on tape because I asked Jimmy Johnson about it. I said, Charles is my homeboy from JMU. And he said, Charles was one of my favorite players. And he said, what happened with Charles was I got on him in practice. And he came to him in in his office, said, Coach, I'll do anything you want me to do for you. Just don't embarrass me in front of the team. And Jimmy Johnson found a way to get what he needed out of Charles without embarrassing him and getting the most out of him. That's coaching. That's the key on there. And so you need a guy like a Charles Haley who's crazy as hell that gets underneath people's skin and people fear him.
Yep.
Yeah, I can tell
I
you.
think Jimmy Johnson though was a good mentor for a lot of guys too.
Oh, yeah.
That helped.
Yeah, he let him play and everything else. Look, you go out there, you have some fun. We gonna have some fun, but you gonna be here and you're gonna be giving everything. And the thing I see right now is I feel like Brian Schottenheimer is really getting the players to buy in, and the players are buying in with him. Yeah, you when you saw him with the whole shoddy shot. Okay, so we got our shoddy shot shirt up here right now. Okay, you see him out there. That whole thing was a team building exercise. You got all the players there. They're doing all these stupid drills and everything.
The same kind of thing that your last coach did.
Well, he took them bowling and stuff like that. But here's the thing.
That's the same. It's the same concept.
It's the same concept. But here's the difference, though. Do you see the interaction with Brian Schottenheimer and the players?
I've seen the same thing with the last coach.
Not with Mike McCarthy, not the same way. No.
He's talking about when they hit the watermelons with the sledgehammers.
Yeah, that okay, big deal. Okay, we're smashing water. But here's the thing. You had Micah Parsons, who has not been in voluntary workouts the last couple of years. He shows up this year. No, not only that, but he said, I'm showing up for Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah, it is a contract year, but I'm showing up because my coach asked me to be here for this.
Wait till next year. He won't be there, Mark.
Oh, he'll be there.
I doubt it. He'll be paid, so he'll be there.
He'll be there.
He'll be paid.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
No, and and the whole thing last year, I sit here and think, when you think about how bad last year was,
sorry, pal.
Yeah, everybody knew that Mike McCarthy was on a short lease. You sit here, let all these players go, your buddies and teammates that you've been to battle for, and you ain't bringing in nobody else. The players didn't believe in that shit. They're just like, screw this.
I will say that a player who's no longer with the Washington football team.
You mean the Commanders?
Sean Taylor was a great guy inside that.
He was a crash out.
He was.
He's a great leader.
He'll crash out. Because remember, he went through a lot emotionally, and he was like a villain. Everybody talks about how bad he was outside. Then he got his life in order, and he changed that team inside and out.
Sean Taylor was on his way. He was on his way to Canton, Ohio. You know that.
But he couldn't play in today's NFL, though. He couldn't play in today's NFL, I don't think.
He would have gotten a lot of penalties.
Yeah, he would have gotten a lot of flags. That's what
I wonder if maybe he does go posthumously into the Hall of Fame, even though he didn't have much of a career because it was just getting started. But why not?
Let's think about Sean Taylor. He lived a violent early in his life. He was a very violent individual, back and forth and like that, and he died a violent death when someone broke in his house.
Right.
Citron says, Mark, you wanted them to keep Mike, and now you say it was no good. I didn't say Mike McCarthy was no good, but what I'm saying is this: the players seem to be relating and buying in.
What's up, Roy?
To Brian Schottenheimer. The players are talking about the energy that he's bringing. Mike McCarthy is, he's a couple years older than me. Brian Schottenheimer is younger, and the players are relating better with him. That's all I'm saying. Now, I can't say Mike McCarthy is a bad coach. We did have 3 12-5 seasons without the Cowboys really doing much to try and help the guy.
Well, I hate to say this, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say this.
Then that means if you hate to say it, the Cowboys going to be pretty good.
Going to have a good season coming up because just simply.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Because this happens all the time. Every time he gets hurt and he's out for a season, he's always come back.
Always bounces back.
Always bounces back. So I hate to say this, but he is going to have a crazy
Kelly in the house
MVP this season because I think that's how potent the offense is. I'm being honest.
He needs to with these two weapons. He's got to play better, and that's what Jones has done. So.
Hold on. You have to hear. We'll shout out to Kelly. Kelly, I could have gone a few years without individual back and forth, warm and fuzzy memories of Mike McCarthy and the watermelon crawl. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
When I first heard
Mark, you were talking about you're talking about Charles earlier. They said Charles Haley didn't mess around with Larry Allen.
No,
they said that's the one man in the locker room. He did not cross.
I can guarantee you that one. Yeah,
probably Eric Williams too. That guy was a mean guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Lord have mercy.
But definitely, but Charles, man, I'm telling you, Charles was no joke. You know, we knew he was great, but we didn't know he was going to be, 5-time Super Bowl great when we were at JMU. We did not recognize that kind of ability, but man,
he's learned technique.
Fourth round draft pick by San Francisco, man. First man to 5 Super Bowl rings. And he was tenacious. Sadly, his back gave out on him. In his career, he didn't play as long as you would have liked to have seen him.
That's why
seeing him unretire and go to Carolina for a little bit, that was a little weird.
Yeah, that's where you hate to see players that have been, when you see like Tony Dorsett going to Denver, that was or Emmett going to Arizona. Those are ones that you just look at and say, shit.
Now,
I bet Leo would say Harold Carmichael going to the Cowboys.
I don't have to throw some shade on Emmitt Smith, Mark, because Emmitt Smith stayed in the league to break a record.
Yeah.
That's basically why he was there, because he went to Arizona, got all those yards in Arizona.
He broke the record.
He broke the record with us.
No, but
against Seattle.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. He went to Arizona for like 2 years, right?
Was it 2?
Yeah, after he broke the record.
Yeah, he broke the record with us.
He broke the record against Seattle, like Will said.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, but he broke it. But he left the Cowboys, then he went to Arizona, then he went back to the Cowboys. Am I not mistaken?
No.
Back to Dallas for a day.
He retired. He came back for one day to do his little hurrah, but then he didn't come back and play for the Cowboys.
Okay.
In fact, John Gruden was interested in him joining Tampa Bay when he was released, but he decided to go to Arizona to play with the team. And this is him.
Well, Bobby V. Well, thank you. Bozo Holmes, the biggest hypocrite on YouTube.
He didn't fit in Bill Parcells' system, so that's why he left.
Well, that too, and he was older, so.
Well, Bobby B. Hold on. Let me get the troll real quick. Bobby V. I'm the biggest hypocrite on YouTube. Thank you for watching because I appreciate the views. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys. So Chris May, why you look like a Sith Lord here?
Loyal has. I love that background.
Chris May's looking like a Sith Lord.
Oh, the Dracula?
Yeah.
I did that for Drew and Leo.
Hey, send it to me. I'd love to have that one.
Okay. All right. We've literally had Leo in here for 5 minutes and hasn't said jack crap.
I'll send it to you, Troy. I'll send it to you. I have it. I'm the one that designed that.
That's funny, Chris.
Mark, please tell us your opinion. Okay, wait a minute. Let me answer this question. Tell me my opinion of benching Terrence Steele for Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman actually hasn't been playing tackle. He's been playing guard and center. And I'm going to say Terrence Steele deserves a chance at right tackle. The reason being is he was rated, I believe, in run blocking as the 15th best offensive tackle. His pass blocking has been a problem. But when you looked at the Cowboys last season, where we were only running the ball like 21 times a game, it was a problem because he was pass blocking every play. But as the season went on and we were more balanced because we weren't having Cooper Rush throw for 50 times, except for one game, he was actually a much better tackle. The bigger problem was more of Tyler Guyton and Zach Martin being injured. So I feel like Terrence Steele, if we do have a balanced attack, will be a much better tackle and get back to where he was more of his second year. That would be my opinion.
The ball more. I totally agree, Mark. Yeah, I mean, Steele, I feel, deserves a chance. I know he wasn't great last year, but he definitely deserves a chance. And
how many people were great on the team in general?
Behind him isn't better. So, Asim Richards, at best, I feel is a swing tackle. So.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
yeah, I mean,
Jeff.
I just feel like I've been hearing a lot of people talking bad about me and saying that I'm delusional about my team.
We don't say that in here, Momo.
Sophomore slump and all stuff like that.
Not that's nothing. Hold on, Momo.
Sophomore slump.
So it's nothing personal, man.
I was going to say it's early. Half these players not going to make the. A lot of these players not going to make the team. We don't know, so we'll see. And when it happens,
I tell you what, Momo, name me a quarterback who didn't have a sophomore slump.
Recent history. Really want me to name some quarterbacks that didn't have a sophomore slump?
Yeah, that didn't have some kind of a sophomore slump. Good.
Right, man.
Okay. Let's. I
mean, I can look and say Jordan Love stepped back. I can look and say.
I can name the obvious.
Good.
Peyton Manning did not have a sophomore slump.
Yeah, he did. He had
he didn't. He was a horrible quarterback the first year. The second year, he got better. What the hell?
He had so many interceptions. It was crazy.
so you're saying Jaden Daniels is Peyton Manning?
One bad season and then he never had another one.
That was the first
until
season.
He retired.
That's not a sophomore slump. Let's get that right. It's the first year he had a bad season.
Okay. All right. Go on. Keep going.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady didn't have a sophomore slump. He didn't have a sophomore slump.
No,
he had a when?
Wait. Okay. Let me back this up for a second. So Peyton Manning's first season, he had 3,700 yards. He had 26 TDs and 28 interceptions. Okay. His second year, he had 26 TDs and 15 interceptions.
Hey, Holly.
Okay, so technically that wasn't a sophomore slump, but if you looked at that and said 26 TDs and 15 interceptions, you would have said that's ass. Because I remember when Dak threw 15 interceptions a couple of years ago, how everybody killed him for leading the league in interceptions, right?
Mark.
I'm just saying.
You know why people get on Dak Prescott and don't really like him? Cowboy fans and everybody. You know the real reason why they don't like Dak Prescott?
Why?
Because he's not being honest with himself. He go there and say the same old thing at every press conference. We had a good game. We'll get better. Win or lose, he's gonna say the same thing. And people want him to be more
not that bad of it,
and more honest.
What's he supposed to say? He's got the worst owners in football.
Yeah. No. He supposed to be honest with himself and the team. You elaborate on something. He says the same thing every time in that press conference.
Well, actually, hold on. Let's back this conversation up for a second here. So Tom Brady, hold on here. Tom Brady, his rookie year, 63.9% completion percentage, 2,843 yards. He played in 14 games. Had 18 TDs and 12 interceptions. Now, he played a full season the next year. His completion percentage went down by 2 to 61.1. His TDs did increase, but so did his interceptions too. So I can't look.
That's not a sophomore slump, though.
He didn't get better. I mean, that's.
Did he make the Super Bowl that year?
You know, how good was that defense? Tom Brady. Here's a misnomer. Tom Brady never had worse than the 7th rated defense winning Super Bowls.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you.
And Tom Brady, okay, we're talking about 28 TDs and 14 interceptions and won the Super Bowl. Are you saying it was because of Tom Brady?
No, I say because of the defense.
There you go. So, he had a great defense there to start out. Do you have a great defense?
Huh?
Do you have a great?
No.
Oh, so you don't have that going for you. Okay, all right. I'm just asking for a friend.
This is my thing about Jaden Daniels. Let's be fair.
Go ahead. No, we're Cowboy fans. We're not going to be fair to the Commanders fans.
His legs going compensate if he don't throw the ball as well. So let's get that straight.
For now.
No.
Give it a few years. Look at Hurts. Hurts is starting to slow down now,
and not running quite as much.
After Dak broke his foot, he slowed down. It just happens, man. Mobile quarterbacks.
Actually, it was that season that he had the mysterious knee injury that they weren't calling for. That he was limping, because I remember the game that he ended up hurting
Wilson used to run all the time. Look what happened to him.
Yeah.
So mobile quarterbacks, their mobility is only good for.
Hey, Drew, hold on for a second, guys. Drew, you just can't come in here and just call Mark that sexual. I think that's kind of insulting. Let's chill out with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So Leo's in the house. Leo.
Yes, sir.
The tickets are going up by the minute, bro.
For the first game, right?
I'm sitting here looking at standing room only 492.
I saw that, man. I was like,
I'm sitting here looking at the cheapest upper level seats.
What?
Corner end zone 647.
What the hell?
I'm sorry, say that again. Loyal?
I said, is Howie trying to buy a yacht now too, or something? Now, what's up with that?
No, I think it's the Super Bowl tax. It's like when you win a Super Bowl, tickets are going to shoot up. You know,
not necessarily. When I went to the Tampa Bay game, I only paid like $150 for mine. I had a nosebleed seat.
Wait.
Dallas played Tampa Bay after they won the Super Bowl. It's $150.
But was that for the game where they're lifting the Super Bowl thing?
It was a Super Bowl celebration. They had the Jets fly across and everything.
Yeah, but look at how much the league has changed from then to now. A lot's going on. So you know, I would imagine. I'm not saying that's the case. It's just my theory. Like, okay, this is what happens when you win the Super Bowl. Your tickets go up. Okay, especially when you think about that. Game.
You're in a bigger market, though, a higher market.
Yeah, well, it's where the Philadelphia is the fourth largest market.
Yes, so that's a big market, and pricing and everything has gone up.
Yep. So I would imagine
North Carolina, things gone up here. But it's not like, for example, you could buy a nice home for less than $400,000.
Yeah,
a nice home.
Yeah. That same house will cost you probably like $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million, $2 million there.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I just think it's just more so. It's the first game. It's the Cowboys.
It's the Super Bowl party. It's everything. It's the perfect storm.
It'll be a good game. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can't wait for the game. I can't wait.
Oh, I'm. Listen, you guys have a lot to be happy about, especially when you look at the differences between this year and
oh my God, that's what I keep trying to tell people.
At it. I mean, we've got another wide receiver. We got a wide receiver too now.
Yep. You know, an unproven run game so far, but it's still
at least it's not over the hill running game.
I think Javonte will do okay.
Yeah, that's why I said hopeful. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, and I've pointed this out before. On paper, yes, you guys look good, but the thing about it is that it's all hypothetical in theory. No one knows what this offense is going to look like.
Yep.
Only because this is the first time with these coaches that you have that's been put together. So we can speculate all day, but until you actually see it, you're not going to know. And,
that's fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's what you can figure, that Caton Adams, it's going to be a physical offensive line. They're going to be attacking for the running game. You can figure that much. And you know Brian Schottenheimer, coming from being a Schottenheimer, does like balance and does like running the football. When he was with the Jets, even with Mark Sanchez, taking them to the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
Not once.
So he has that. He has that experience. We just, again.
And now you get two really good receivers.
Right.
Oh,
so shit. Again, we just the thing is that we still just don't know what this will look like.
Well, I see what Leo
for the most part.
Leo was saying. Leo's saying chemistry. Leo's saying how's our chemistry?
Yeah, this question mark.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's the focus of the.
That's fair. How's our chemistry going?
But Loyal, I mean, from what I can see, you know what I'm saying. I can't I can't put it down. I mean, the guy's done things like move people's lockers around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see him amongst the players more so,
right? And in real moments, not like that's my boss. It's like that's my buddy.
Now, you know, I'm more or less just like, but then there comes. I've said this before. You guys should practice a little bit of cautionary optimism. You understand what I'm saying? Only because after so many years of letdown, you know what I'm saying?
You know what?
How do you how do you protect
You need some confidence.
Building yourself up.
As opposed to this whole thing, we scared of you. No, as opposed to this whole thing, well, we're just happy to be competing with the no, screw that. Build this thing up, get some confidence in yourselves, because I think the Cowboys, you know, when you go to the character issues, you know, when we're winning, oh man, we party and everything else. When we start losing, we turn into a shell and we're just kind of like, no. Let me get some guys that are a little aggressive. Let me get some guys that are excited. Let me get some guys that are lighting some fires. Try something different.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and you know what, Mark? I'll be honest with you. That's when I kind of have to jump off the train, because that's not what it is for us. You know what I'm saying? We're more so just worried about, you know, health, you know, and getting into the postseason and winning another Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation, like the outlook and the conversation or the priorities are just a little bit different, because we're not wondering what our team is going to look like all around coaching. Offense, yeah, our guys did what your head coach did. We hired from within. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, just the head coach.
Yeah, well, our OC, yeah. But I'm just saying it was still within. The only thing I know of about our offense is, at least I know the language won't change. And
well, here's an interesting take.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kate and Adams, what they're doing is they're not changing the language. He's learning the language and changing his.
Right. He's doing is he's wrapping himself around the players rather than the players,
as opposed to saying, I got 11 guys that got to learn my thing. It'll be easier for me or easier for them. They keep their shit, and I'm the only one that's got to learn theirs.
Yeah. Now, I know, you know, again.
Lovely Mark, Linda. What's up, Linda?
You've actually played before. You played football, organized football at some point in your life before.
Yes.
So I know that you can appreciate the challenge of having to learn a new offense, a new language altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, nothing for nothing. And I know you guys can't stand this or whatever. But aside from the fandom, you know, I think it's exceptional that you have a quarterback who's had a different offensive coordinator almost every year that he's been in the league and has performed such as he has. That's a difficult thing to do, no matter whether, again, forget the fact that this was Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just the fact that as someone who knows what it means to have to go through that, that's a pretty daunting task. Now, I told you, you know, my business partner was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he went to the Baltimore Ravens, and he played on the offensive line. And you always talk about having been a nose guard.
Mm-hmm.
And without knowing it, Mark, you have said, and I told you this before, you have said a few things at the same in a different way, but the same thing that I've heard him say. And he told me that it is very, very, very difficult to play on the line, whether it be offense or defense. But from an offensive lineman perspective, you have to, he said, it's not just that you got to know what you're doing. He said you got to know what
everybody else is doing.
Where he said it's like a choreography, and you got to know where the right guard is doing and the right tackle is doing.
And if the quarterback's changing the play, right, you could be changing the hole. You may be thinking it's coming right off your ass. You're cracking it down to the next hole. You know, you're pulling. I mean, it's like
and then taking. He said, then you got to take in. He said, not only that though. He said, but then you got to take into account what the guy in front of you was about to do.
Right.
And where he's lined up at. And I remember one time you talked about, you know, when you're playing nose guard, it's whether you line up on the right side, the right shoulder of the tackle,
where you're shaded. Yeah, you can be shaded to the left or shaded to the right.
Yeah. So when you brought up some of the things, like I remember Brian Baldinger talking about breaking down film and everything like that. And the one thing that I always appreciated was the fact that he said every member of that offensive line can pull, which is something that is unusual. Mm-hmm. And then I remember not too long after I heard him say that, that's when I remember you got on and you talked about what it's like playing the nose tackle position and the things that have
you got to have your head on the swivel.
So it just I'm just pointing these things out to say, like, it gave me, as a fan of football, period, it just gave me a different perspective and a different appreciation for all the things that have to go into it. So I'm a little more
normal. That's normal if you played offensive line or defensive line.
Momo, I did not play offensive line, and I'm saying
I thought you played football. I thought you played some organized football.
I did not play football at all.
But
what I'm saying to you is that I'm just relaying to you an experience I had listening to someone who played offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens at a high level, and then listening to Mark Holmes, who played football in college. And a lot of the time, a number of times, I hear Mark say things that I've heard in private conversations with someone else. So it's just like, oh, damn, like, I guess that is real.
When I played high school football, I had to know on certain positions, in case that person get hurt or whatever the case may be, I had to go and place that individual because sometimes you have to replace. If I'm the defensive end or or the defensive tackle, I have to know that position.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just again. Just
I got you.
The things that I'm hearing and experiences that I had.
That's true.
And like, I appreciate the fact that our coach, our offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland has been doing
just like
wonders with that offensive line.
Just like if you a 7, for example, Leo and everybody listening, if you a 7th round, 8th round, a 7th round pick, and you probably the last person, and you a running back or a DB coming into the draft, but just no spot on you, and the only spot is the special teams. That's how players made the team back in the day, because they had to get on the special teams or be a wedge buster,
like Terrell Davis. He had to make a big play on special teams.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp. He was drafted, but he he didn't start his first couple of years. I think it was the first year or the second he didn't start.
Yeah, so.
So you had to be on special teams.
Yeah, so taking in all those the different experiences that I've heard people like Mark and Eugene Monroe say to me, it's just like, oh wow, like damn, I have a different appreciation for, at least from the trench part of it all, because they've said the same thing to me at different times in different ways, but it's the same thing. So I get it.
Now here's what. To give you an idea, Caton Adams is he likes physicality, and this was his quote right after he got hired. The same thing I want from every player on offense, and that is to create violence in the game, be aggressive, run, hit, and I think every decision we make schematically needs to lean in that direction. So if there's a gray area, what is going to allow these guys to play more free and run and hit and be violent? So, that I like aggression, and that's where you get a guy like Tyler Booker, who's not scared. Now, he may end up getting his ass whooped, game one, but that's a guy that if the Cowboys do get their ass whooped, then that gives them a measuring stick to say, okay, we got to be better.
This game is over.
I don't think Micah's reaction to what Tyler Booker was saying was not warranted. I think it was. First of all, you drafted this guy in the first round. He's a first round draft pick, and that's how he talking. That's exactly, you better be talking that way. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah,
and in particular,
and that's the polar opposite of Tyler Guyton.
Right, and then on top of that, that talk came at the same time you guys are trying to address culture issues. So it helps with that. Now, does how that actually translates.
Excuses for Tyler Booker.
Now, how that translates on the actual playing field, that's yet to be seen. But you want a guy especially a rookie coming in talking like that. Okay,
yeah,
because you know what, Mark,
now you better back that shit up.
Yeah, remember when Jalen Carter?
I think all rookies talk that way.
Got
they don't got a microphone
Eagles,
in front of them, though.
Jalen Carter said almost the same. He said, "Hey, get Philadelphia, get ready. We're gonna win the Super Bowl." 2 years later, it happened. So it's just like, okay, like you want your rookies talking big like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if he wasn't thinking that way, I'd have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so
hold on. Y'all don't know this. That's that SEC shit. If you ain't come from the SEC, you don't know nothing about that. That's that SEC talk.
Yeah,
that's that real shit.
Well, and Thomas, that means they're coming from places where culture was a thing.
I live in SEC country. If you don't play in the SEC, you don't talk like that. I know most of y'all from the Big 10, Big 12, and all of that. But if SEC, we talk like this down here.
I think every player talks like that when they draft. But they want to prove that way. I don't think that's because where you come from, people talk smack no matter where they from.
Okay.
They're gonna talk smack on the football
Well, let me
field.
talk smack about this one.
It got nothing to do with what conference you come from, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Well, again, when you're a team that's talking about culture, when you're putting an emphasis on culture or building a culture, you want guys like that. I mean, Mark
from DC. I talk much shit.
You want some crash outs, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I could appreciate that too. We had Brian Dawkins, who was a crash out. You know what I'm saying? We had Asante Samuels, who was a crash out. You see what I'm saying? So I could appreciate the sentiment.
And you got Momo, who's always been a crash out.
I can appreciate what you're saying what you mean when you're talking about the delicate balance between having the crash out and then building the culture at the same time. The whole 9 yards. I thought Jimmy Johnson was a
crash out king.
The way he handled Charles Haley. You know what I'm saying? So because you was using Charles Haley as the example. You know what I'm saying? So I'm again.
Oh, but he had other ones like Kevin Gogan was another one.
I'm talking about the example that you were using earlier when you were talking about Charles Haley. I was like, I actually get that. So again, not trying to.
Now this was surprising to me because I had to double check on it because I did not think that this was the case. We were last year third in the NFL with 52 sacks.
Me too, Bill Cosby.
And surprisingly, the Commanders had 43. And I was really shocked when it was the Eagles only had 41 sacks last year. You would actually think that it would have been the reverse because so many teams were trying to catch up to you. You know, we had games that are blowouts where teams are running the ball in the second half and everybody's always running against us. You wouldn't think we would have as many opportunities as the Eagles. And looking at that, knowing that Micah Parsons was gone for 5 games, D-Law was more of a run stopper and he's gone, the Cowboys could be
Sam Williams
Sam Williams was gone.
All at one point.
When you think that we're going to probably score a lot more points this year than last year, we might be able to get to the point of getting about 60 sacks.
Yeah, okay. But does here's the $1 million, here's the anecdote to that. Is the implicate? Are you implying that more sacks should lead to is what will get you to a Super Bowl?
Well, here's the thing. This is why this whole statistic seemed weird, because your team won the majority of their games. Your team ran the ball more.
Good job, baby.
Okay, which means the opposite for the other team is we got to hurry up and score. We're going to pass more, right? Because we got to catch up. We got to score some points. But somehow you didn't have that many sacks. Ideally, if the Cowboys can score a lot of points and put people one-dimensional, that flows into helping our defense because our defense is better rushing the quarterback than stopping the run.
Can you mute some? I bet it's Thomas Garrett. Can you mute?
No, it's Royal.
It's Royal.
Yeah, Royal. Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, Mark. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Okay.
Oh, that's my bad. I thought I was muted. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
No, my point being is for the Cowboys defense, we truly have better pass rushers than we do run stoppers. If the Cowboys offense having, now George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, which should make everybody else in the offense better, because if you put 8 men in the box and I got CeeDee outside and I got George Pickens, I'll take that every day. Okay, that's fine by me. I'll go ahead and have those two go deep. One of those guys will be on receiver.
I'm here to make a prediction, another prediction.
Here we go.
Michael Parsons, I think they're going to change his defense in. I think he's better suited as what his position is. I don't think he's going to be rushing the passes as much as you and the Cowboy fan base believe.
I don't know about that.
I think it'd be because remember, Michael Parsons has not been really coached up like he should be, because I think he's out of position.
That's his biggest strength, so I doubt.
Yeah, that's his biggest strength. But here's the thing, though.
His biggest position, but I think he can do better as a linebacker per se, right linebacker or middle linebacker. I think he's better suited for that. His skill set says that he's better suited for that.
Momo, you said I don't know how many times that Michael Parsons can only rush your quarterback. Now you want to take that from
I'm just going by your skill set. I was bullshitting.
Okay.
Like I said, I was trolling. You know
And
me.
that's what makes it hard to take Commander fans serious.
Whatever. I'm being simplistic, and I'm being honest with myself.
Stopping Micah Parsons from rushing the quarterback is like taking my race car to bumper traffic. That's
right. Exactly. I believe he's not going to be having the many. I think they're going that defensive coordinator. He's different.
The only way that happens is if you have somebody who can take up the slack and be able to rush the quarterback like he does.
I got people to rush the quarterback.
Well, it remains to be seen if they can rush the quarterback like Micah Parsons.
I'm just telling you.
If we go through,
Now he's back with the Cowboys.
If we go, you know how many guys we've had that have 10 sacks in the last 15 years in a season?
Don't be surprised if you see him in the linebacker role at times in defense. I'm just saying.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. But there's a reason why you're not an NFL coach.
I know. I'm telling you. I'm telling you because I'm telling you, this coach, this defensive coordinator does not. He's a different type of coordinator.
Dracula, Troy.
Okay, we'll see. We are all armchair quarterbacks and coaches here, so we'll see. But here's where I look at this and say Micah Parsons could be more effective because, especially if they ended up getting another defensive tackle. Because if you end up having if Easy is anything on the opposite side of him, because we really did not have Carl Lawson was really our next best pass rusher last year. Because everybody else is hurt. If Donovan Easy is decent over there, Micah Parsons could have 20 sacks on the season. And if you
he's not gonna have no 20 sacks this season. Mark.
You watch. If the Cowboys got themselves or one of their defensive tackles plays legitimate, where they're a game wrecker, and you've got another guy who can rush the ball, you can't focus in on because what happened last year. In the same way, CeeDee Lamb was. If you stop CeeDee Lamb, you pretty much stopped the Dallas Cowboys offense, right?
I'm just what I'm saying to you, Mark.
Now. It's the same thing with Micah Parsons. That's the problem when we get to the playoffs. There's no other dog out there to help him out. What?
You got to look at the defensive coordinator. Look how he plays. What he does.
I can bet you my life versus a handful of shit that they're not going to take Micah Parsons and make him a linebacker.
No, I didn't say they're going to take him away.
Okay.
What I said is that they're going to move him around and have him in a linebacker role. That's what that defensive coordinator is. That's
no,
what
he's
does.
not going linebacker.
No, I tell you what,
he's coming
he
off the
had
edge every time.
Troy. I said at times. I didn't say the whole time.
Leo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You'll be creative with him.
Leo, he came back the last 11 games and had 12 sacks. So for dude over here is laughing and saying 20 sacks, wake up. He had 12 and a half sacks last year in 12 games.
Mark, you can't go by that.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. You got a better team on defense. You have more edge rushers. You got a Robin right now. Hold on. Second part of this is your offense, if Dak Prescott stays healthy, will score a whole lot more points, which will put the opposition, forcing them to pass more, which will give them more opportunities.
Well, Mark, I'll say this. Listening to everything you're saying about that, about your line, the whole 9 yards, I'm talking about your defensive line, your edge rushers and stuff like that. It sounds to me like you have to have one hell of an offensive line to be able to handle that, which I think we do have.
Always goes back to you.
Yeah. I take again, listening to all this, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll take the Pepsi challenge. I mean, 4 of our 5 guys were all pros last year. You know what I'm saying? So, and when it comes to our defense, this will be our defensive line's second year in the Vic Fangio system.
Yes, I hear you. All right, moving along with okay, I got it. We know you guys are the greatest thing in the world.
Mark, listen, bro, you're the one who made the point about the sacks and everything like that. At least allow me to complete the thought on the response to that.
Okay,
and that's what that was my response to what you had said earlier, which is you're surprised 41 to 53, I think you said, or something like that. And I'm saying, you know what? Yeah, that was a defensive line who was going through learning a new defense at the same time. Mm-hmm. And this is the second one. And then on top of that, when you look at the losses like Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Oren Burks, CJ Gardner-Johnson, the good news is that we have more guys returning from going into their second year in the same system than we have guys who left. So that's all. I just wanted to at least respond to that thing you said about 53 versus 41 and how surprising it was.
Yeah,
there's got to be a reasonable explanation for that. And the last point I'll make is that the good news is that 41 sacks still got us to a Super Bowl, and we won.
I'm not I would have thought, okay, and it wasn't meant to be disrespect. My point was, I'm surprised that it was only that many, because I would have thought that you would have had more teams that were chasing you, in which case that front line would be getting to the quarterback more often, and it just didn't. And I'm just sitting here looking at the Cowboys. Here's the reason why, Momo, I will tell you that I think you're wrong on that, because when you have a person who requires double teams and sometimes triple teams, you are setting up opportunities for other people. And that's legitimately what Micah Parsons does. And you don't have a guy that can require, as an edge rusher, at least not yet, that kind of respect, where you look and say, this guy can blow up the play by himself. And if you take him and make him a middle linebacker, you are reducing what that pass rush can be. Because what he does, because he's so good, is part of the reason why Osa Ndigizua has as many pressures as he does.
Here's the problem. He has to learn how to recognize when there's a screen pass. He has to recognize when there's a draw play.
You know what? Here's my thing. If I've got a guy that's going to get me 15 sacks, I got 10 other guys that requires double teams and sometimes triple teams. I got 10 other guys that I want to take care of that stuff. I want to use him for exactly what he does. Because you can take Charles Haley. Charles Haley wasn't exactly a great run stopper either. Charles Haley, his job was, you get your ass up the field and you get off to that quarterback's ass. That's your one thing. That's what you do. No, that's because here's the difference. See, the difference is if you want to have sacks and pressures and all that stuff, you have to be aggressive from play one to get upfield. If you're playing the run, you're staying at the line of scrimmage. So which one do you want? Do you want me to play the line of scrimmage and stop the run, or do you want me to put pressure on the quarterback? And we don't know the defensive philosophy here. It may have been said, Micah Parsons, we want you to just wreak havoc upfield. That is your responsibility. In the same way as a nose tackle. Listen to me for a second. Wait, Momo, listen to me for a second. In the same set as a nose guard, I remember being in a JV game. I could shoot the gap, get between the offensive linemen.
Right.
I literally got in the hip pocket of the quarterback and tackled him and the running back as he's handing the ball off. And literally got cussed out because that was not my assignment. My assignment was hold up the offensive line. So you're up here making the assumption that Micah Parsons just doesn't know how to do the run. You don't know if the coach is saying, I'm taking the one thing that you do great, and I want you to do that every single play. Get upfield and be in the backfield.
I'm telling you, Mark, this Eberflus is not that type of defensive coordinator.
We'll see. I'm glad you know everything. And you know what? Has Eberflus had a guy like Micah Parsons?
Say what?
Eberflus said in his interview when he came back to the Cowboys that he was going to have Micah going after the quarterback.
That's all talk.
That's
all talk.
Okay.
I did a reaction to it.
How's that all talk?
I think that's all talk.
That's what.
Momo up here showing his ass without showing his ass. Okay.
We've heard the Micah Parsons is going to be moved around. They try it, and then what happens? They go back to him rushing the passer.
I'm just saying it's May, and I'm allowed to talk my shit now. When July and training gets happen, we'll see what happens.
He wants to get it out now because the season ain't gonna be like last year.
It's been a lot of talk. It's been a whole lot of talk.
We going 11-7, and we going win the division. So what you got talking about? What y'all talking about?
You know, okay. Let me see if I can get this correct now. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this correct. So you have a person who is in the top 2 or 3 in a skill in the whole NFL. Right? And it's not just 1 year, it's been every year of his career. Instead of doing that, we're going to say, okay, we're going to make you do something different as opposed to what you do that's great. Is that what you're saying, Momo?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying. You're saying
times they gonna have him doing different. They gonna have him doing different things. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, no.
So basically, what you're saying, sometimes he's going to rush the quarterback. Sometimes he's not.
I think 80% of the time he's gonna rush the quarterback, and 20%
yes, and sometimes they made it look like he was going to rush, and he dropped the coverage last year.
They've been doing that.
Okay.
You were saying what he's been doing. That's crazy.
The official coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, y'all probably gonna run him out of town too. So every defensive coordinator y'all get, y'all chase him out anyway. So this ain't gonna be nothing new.
Mike Zimmer retired. Really didn't chase him out. But
who did you chase out? Who did y'all chase out?
No, Zimmer.
Momo,
Mike Zimmer retired. Remember?
Wait, well, okay. You had Wade Phillips. You had Wade Phillips. Y'all got Mr. Handclap. Made him just much money as the head coach. But y'all chased him down.
how many people have the damn Washington football team chased out of town?
Probably a lot. The owner was horrible.
Oh, Lordy.
But this year we going 11-7. We gonna win the division. So that's all I got to say about it.
11-7. There's only 18 games.
I can't wait to be talking smack. Because Momo, I got your phone number. When your quarterback has the sophomore slump,
including the playoffs,
and they have a losing record, I'm gonna be calling you every day, bro.
Call me every day.
I'm gonna call you every day.
Please do.
Lord have mercy.
That's the right person to call.
I can smell a smashed quarterback in Washington this year.
I could smell 1,200 yards rushing the ball, or him running the ball, and 2,000 yards, maybe 5,000 yards passing. So let's get it cracked.
What is the
Oh my
definition
God.
of delusional?
Momo.
Leo, have you been sending him some of that weed, man?
You know what, Mark? I think I actually do need to send him some. You know
I don't know what whack weed he's smoking.
Yeah, I don't think he's smoking the right stuff.
Did he say 1,200 yards rushing and 5,000 passing?
He said 2,000 yards rushing and 5,000 yards passing, and they're going to win the division.
Leo,
Yes,
have some of
sir.
that herb delivered.
What's that, Thomas?
Gina Dallas Diva.
Have some of that herb delivered.
You know what, Tom?
Have some of that herb.
No, Thomas, I think you're right. I think he is in need of it. The good stuff, because whatever he's smoking it's got mold in it, and it's going to his head.
You should be, as a Commanders fan, you should be focused. And
Linda, he said 5,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing.
The last time y'all had a rookie quarterback go crazy, he disappeared the rest of his career.
Okay, can I explain that?
Yeah,
I live in the area. Mark live in the area. Mark could tell you what happened. He got big headed. Him and his delusional wife. He sacked the offensive line.
Ooh.
He started going out, hanging out with the owner, going to parties.
No. What it was is he got his leg jacked up.
Dwayne Haskins.
No.
RG3.
No, Dwayne Haskins.
And so the office
okay.
could block for him anymore. They say we are done. The whole
RG3 got hurt. That's why he left.
Yeah, RG3 got his knee jacked up, and then he got exposed because he couldn't get outside anymore.
Yep. Hold on a second, guys.
Didn't he come to the league hurt too?
Turn on Robert Griffin. The whole team turned on him. They didn't want to block for him. They want nothing to do.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, Momo. I went to training camp
and ran him up and down the field till he got injured.
I went to Washington training camp, his second year, and they were doing the whole Adidas campaign, all in.
Right.
And I was looking at him training camp, and I was like, that knee ain't healed. It wasn't anywhere near healed, but that campaign kept him on there.
Because you know why, Mark? You know what? He didn't want the other quarterback. The other quarterback name?
Kirk Cousins.
Atlanta now?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. He didn't want Kirk Cousins to take his spot.
No, it was all publicity. It was the marketing thing for Adidas, man, all in.
Yeah, it was. It was horrible.
Yeah, and then he decided he wanted to be a pocket quarterback. And he was not a pocket quarterback.
His daddy came out and had that stupid press conference saying, "Hey, my son gonna be a pocket quarterback. He's on like that. He's not gonna be running the ball like he normally do." I said, "You gonna take what's best, what he does best?" But he was the best.
He gonna do what? He gonna do what?
Wait, what?
He gonna take what from what he does best? Why would he do that, Mama?
Didn't he have a praise for RG3 when he came?
I'm talking about the quarterback.
Why are you even going down that rabbit hole with him?
Oh,
that's
shit!
It. Like, come on! Like seriously.
I'm just saying, 11-6. Y'all get used to
Derek, do you realize that Momo had to go all the way back to RG3 to make his point?
No, because that's how bad we been. Come on now,
sophomore slump.
That's how bad we been. I ain't got no good things to happen.
And these people have revisionist history.
Yeah, okay? You do too.
No, we have a Super Bowl.
No, shit. We're off the rails here.
History. You had your Cunninghams. So
I'm and speaking of which, Mark, that was the one that hurt me to see in a Cowboys uniform.
Who?
Randall. That was the one that hurt me. That one hurt me more than
Harold Carmichael.
Any former Eagle playing for you guys, Jason Peters and so on and so forth. It just hurt to see, the weapon in a Randall in a Cowboys uniform. That one hurt me, and I'm only speaking about myself.
Well, I'm going to say it didn't hurt me seeing Orlando Scandrick wearing it.
I'm sorry, say that again, Mark.
I said it didn't hurt me seeing Orlando Scandrick wearing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who did I hate.
DeMarco Murray. It actually didn't hurt seeing DeMarco Murray because he stunk up the place.
That didn't work out. DeMarco Murray didn't work out.
Scandrick didn't work out.
From the Cowboys. Orlando Scandrick. Yeah, didn't.
Y'all had Miles Austin, didn't you?
Yeah, we had. I said Miles. Yep.
That didn't work out.
Herschel Walker.
Yeah, Herschel Walker. Yeah, but I'm just again, guys, and Mark, I just want to address this one thing real quick because you played the clip a couple of times this week about Micah and CD and them reacting to the Guantanamo Bay thing or what have you. You know, I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. You know what I mean? There's something to that if you think about it, because when CD played against us last year, which was Quinyon Mitchell's first year.
You mean with Cooper Rush? With Cooper, I can't do shit against the Eagles rush.
Yeah, hey, yeah. You know, but I'm just saying because your man was on that same shit talking about I ain't never been locked up. I ain't never, bruh. You only had like a couple of catches against us, and you ain't had no touchdowns. And you didn't even play in the second. You didn't play in the second game. So there's some validity to what they're saying. Now, if you want to add the Cooper Rush part of it all to it, fine, no problem. But don't say that my man didn't do what he was supposed to do against y'all. He did. You had good games, I guess, or statistical games against a lot of other teams. But when it came to the Philadelphia Eagles, you did not have a good game when you did play us. You had fact, you had a terrible game.
I'm looking at Cooper Rush versus the Eagles. Man, you talk about sad. Cooper Rush, in all of the games he's played against the Eagles, has 2 TDs and 5 interceptions.
I think that's what somebody needs to send that to Micah and CD when they're talking about when they were talking about Quinn.
Okay, when you're talking about a guy that's had a 51% completion percentage against the team, I don't know that you can talk about CD Lamb because Cooper Rush couldn't hit anybody.
No, listen. All I'm doing is addressing that clip that you put out where Micah and CD and them was playing golf or they were somewhere, and then they were reading the Guantanamo Bay.
Okay, Again, let me preface it this. In 3 starts against the Eagles.
No.
He's got 383 yards passing.
Listen, last
2 TDs and 5 interceptions.
Yeah, but last year was Quinyon Mitchell's rookie season. They only played
going against Cooper freaking Rush. Okay,
yeah, Cooper Rush,
who only threw 45 yards in the game.
Yeah,
the whole game.
Yeah, so
to everybody. Okay.
Yeah, y'all shut down.
So come on, okay. Come on, bro.
Yeah, so
okay. Oh
man,
my God.
we might if the Cowboys get back to the 2021 offense this year, because that's the last time. That's when CD and Amari was on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the defense, we have a better defense than we had that year.
Mm-hmm.
But Derek, realize you preference everything you just said with if.
You know what?
If too.
It's if for you guys too, man.
It won't be a will. No, everybody's ifing right now.
Oh my God! You know the Texans coach was quarterback was like, I'm a top 5 quarterback. Was he a top 5 quarterback this past year?
Jack was having a good season before he went down.
Oh, you mean when we were rushing 51 yards a game?
He started out
without a second wide receiver.
My man was on camera talking about we fucking suck. So I'm just saying,
collectively, everything. Our defense literally had 2 games that they couldn't force a punt.
He said, "I'm about to buy me a truck."
We literally had a defense that 2 games could not force a punt.
He was like, "I'm about to buy me a truck." That's what he said.
You're about to buy a truck. Look. All I can go off of is the last piece of film that I have when it comes to, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles.
That was not okay. You know what? Keep that in mind. Think that that's the team that you're gonna face.
No,
think that's the team you're gonna face.
No. Listen, all I'm saying is you know who you going against.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you look like going against that team. Now, what you do know is what y'all looked like the last time you went against that team,
and it wasn't the same team, bro.
The last time Dak played the Eagles with what? Was that the 3rd and 30 game, or was that?
I'm talking about last year. I'm only going as far back as.
But you can't call last year, man.
We were injured as hell last year, bro.
Quinyon Mitchell was a rookie last year. You know what I'm saying? Cooper DeJean was a rookie last year.
Get nervous, Mark. CD and Pickens running loose.
Talking.
I don't blame him for being scared. Laugh out loud. They're getting nervous. Got it. I got it now. Where's the raid for real? The raid is back down at the Red Brick House. But it's all good, though. Again, sleep on the Cowboys. I hope that the Cowboys play like they're scared and not that they're front runners. I want them to have a chip on their shoulders. I want them to be continuously looked past and shit on. And that they get some edge and some attitude. And they go in there in Philadelphia and they bitch slap you.
Well, Mark, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to take it at you can only take it at face value. Like I remember 2 years ago, your defense was saying we ain't taking shit from all 32 teams. You know what I'm saying? And that was in training camp. And y'all was supposed to, all this other stuff. How has that translated? It has not translated well at all.
You know what might be the biggest problem for your Eagles team, though? Going into that game is exactly what you're sitting there thinking about, how you dominated the Cowboys. And you're looking past that to Kansas City, the Rams, and Tampa Bay.
No. Listen, I am under no delusion at all. I'm not looking past the Dallas Cowboys. All I am saying, bro, is that I'm going off of the last piece of film that we had. You know what I'm saying? And that was with Cooper Rush as your quarterback and not.
And that's got absolutely nothing to do with this team.
Exactly.
You're going to have a different quarterback, different offensive coordinator, different head coach. You've got everything that's coming, and different players.
So here's the thing. When you talk about what's going to happen and how you're going to do this and how you're going to be that, add that part in it too. That's all I ask.
Okay.
Is that
look at it this way. Wait. Let's look at it this way. When Tampa Bay went out and they got Tom Brady, did that make that team that much better or not?
Yes.
Because in essence, that's basically what we're doing. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, so don't send me your hate mail.
No,
but we're upgrading the quarterback position from Cooper Rush to Dak Prescott. When you got A.J. Brown versus Rhaegar,
right?
Did that upgrade your team or not?
We went to the Super Bowl that year.
Okay, so we've done both of those moves right there from the team that you're comparing from last year. We have two major upgrades on the offense that we didn't have last year, right?
Yeah, but what do you have? What's the common denominator between the two?
What do you mean? What's the common denominator?
Who else? Who was there last year? That's there this year. Jerry Jones.
That's okay. You can take Jerry Jones out because you can take Jerry Jones. Hold on,
what was happening those years that happened this year?
Yes, in past years, if you go by what we did last year, but see, we ain't done a Pickens move since Amari Cooper.
Again, a reason why to be. I get why you should be excited, as you should. I'm not taking that from you, but again, when I'm thinking about, I'm looking at this defense, and I'm going, okay, these guys are all coming back in the second year of the same defense.
Okay. And I got a defense that when Micah Parsons came back last year with a bunch of no-names, that actually played well and was third in the NFL in sacks. And I look at some upgrades.
Into?
Well, you didn't have an offense there. You had Cooper freaking Russ there, bro.
Yeah, so again, like,
and a team that had the second most missed games because of injuries.
I'm just like, bruh. I mean, like, okay. Whatever you need to tell you, whatever you guys need to tell
okay.
you.
All right, wait. Okay. Wait. Hold it. No. Let's give the argument here. So let me ask you this, Leo. Who's your number 3 wide receiver?
Jahan Dotson.
Okay, so if you put Jahan Dotson, you take away Devontae Smith, and you get Jahan Dotson as your number 2. Okay? Who is your third string running back?
Will Shipley.
Okay. Will Shipley's now your running back. Who's your backup quarterback?
Was Kenny Pickett.
Traded him to Pittsburgh.
Kenny Pickett.
Okay, we'll say Kenny Pickett. Okay,
no, there's this. If they got their backup from Cleveland.
Okay, but we'll take Kenny Pickett though. We'll say Kenny Pickett.
And we drafted somebody too.
Okay, and you take your left tackle, take Lane Johnson, and put a rookie out there.
That's right.
How does that team compare to the team that you have right now?
Well, you all right. Here's the thing. Let's look at what you do. Let's take a look at those players and substitute. Right? How did we do when Lane went out? Remember when he went out? How well did we do?
Did you have a starting rookie tackle?
He's saying one at a time. He's saying all of them at once.
I'm saying you have Lane Johnson replaced by a rookie tackle. You lose Devontae Smith, and I forgot who you said was your number 2. Jahan Dotson is now your number 2 wide receiver.
Right.
Okay. Right. You end up getting rid of Jalen Hurts for Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Okay. And we get rid of Saquon for
Will. You said for the third string, right?
Right.
Will Shipley.
Okay. Is that team going to the Super Bowl? Is that team as good as what you had right there on offense?
We're competing. I don't know if we're going.
You're competing. Okay. Then you bring those guys back. Where are you? Your team's a hell of a lot better, right?
We're winning the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Okay. So that in essence is what we're talking about here with the Cowboys.
But what evidence do you have that suggests that will actually happen?
My quarterback was runner-up MVP, had 36 TDs and 10 interceptions.
20 years.
Okay, so Walker Wade is using the trend that we haven't had a repeat winner of the NFC
Not
East
to mention last year,
including with teams that have won Super Bowls.
Last year, the year before, we swept y'all, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
We swept them the early Super Bowl year too.
Okay, so y'all swept us this year. So I'm just going by a pattern here. We're going to be competitive with y'all.
Right. Okay.
So, especially week 1 going in healthy.
And that's and that's based off of what evidence other than
that's based on that's
when we've been healthy. It's not like you guys blow us out, bro.
The Cowboys go back and forth.
They're division games, wins, losses.
This is a new era, and like Mark said, like I was saying, we need to go in there this season with a chip on our shoulder. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that
Drew, Mark, Dallas Sachs don't
because this is the first time he ever got a job. No one else wouldn't give him a job.
Yep, that's true.
Head coach. So I believe that he'll go into the season with a chip on his shoulder.
He's got something to prove anyway.
Now,
the lineage he comes from.
What season? What year did you start the season without a chip on your shoulder?
Oh man,
because you guys have had the same chip. Because everyone's been teasing you guys about not having won a Super Bowl in X amount of years every year for at least the past 20 years.
Well, you got to go back before Bill Parcells because Bill Parcells, everybody knew when Bill Parcells came, the expectations were high.
Right.
When Wade Phillips came in there, he was kind of handpicked by Jerry Jones.
Right.
To be a passer.
Jason Garrett was handpicked
that was Camp
by Jerry
Cupcake,
Jones,
right?
And Mike McCarthy was handpicked by Jerry Jones.
Right.
Yes, Shoddy was handpicked by Jerry Jones, but he didn't have any prior coaching experience prior to that. Other than being a coordinator.
By Stephen Jones.
I don't think people started talking about the accident waiting to happen until Jason Garrett got a hold of the team and was with us for a while. Because before that, I didn't hear much talk of that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear much talk of the Cowboys can't get it done or no. I didn't hear much talk of that like in 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
When we were going 8-8 3 years in a row and we could never get in, that's when it started.
That's when they should have fired Jason Garrett.
The clapper,
was there for too long.
It was 3 years in a row. If we won, we were in the playoffs.
Yep.
And we lost all 3 times.
I'll say this, again, I've given you guys, respectfully your flowers in terms of having, what you guys are doing. I think the activity that I've witnessed thus far this year is actually quality activity. It's the kind of activity that if I were in your position, I would want to see. Again, and I've always said, I don't know what this is going to look like, but damn it, do something. And this year, it looks like y'all did something. With that being said, we're not the same. You know what I'm saying? Our concerns are not the same as yours. We're We don't have culture concerns that we're trying to address. You guys are addressing it. And I'm not saying you're devoid of not having addressed it, but that's not the same thing we're going through. You know what I'm saying?
A culture change comes with head coach change.
Coaches, yeah,
automatically. They together.
I'm just and all I'm saying is, all I'm saying, we're not onboarding all new coaches either. You know what I'm saying? We weren't devoid of talent, such as the way you guys were when it came to last year versus this year. You know what I'm saying? We're adding depth pieces. You guys are trying to find starters. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference, and so we're not trying to find as many starters as you are, and we actually have guys.
I think we found some depth pieces. I think we've got some depth pieces that we found,
and we may not be finished yet.
In comparison to the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, we lost Darius Clay, but we got guys who are ready to step in, who are coming into their third season in the league, second in the same system. And we actually added to that. That's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, again, just in comparison to in terms of where our mindset is versus where your mindset is, your entire training camp is going to be centered around game one. The one thing y'all want to do is what
so is yours. Isn't yours going to be centered around that first game?
No, we have to play the. Listen, you guys are not as important to us as playing the Kansas City Chiefs, as playing the San Diego Chargers. You're not. Are you guys one of the
Leo? That's not true. You start with your division.
Wait a minute. Are you guys one of the? Are you guys one of the playoff teams that we had to play last year?
Maybe. Well, not last year. I'm
looking at that now. Again, not looking past you.
Your main winning the division. Your main focus is winning the division.
Yep.
I really hope, Leo, that your coaches on the Eagles and your players on the Eagles have the same mindset you have right now. That Cowboys are really beneath us and we're not worried about them. It's only Kansas City.
All we got to do is
the coaching staff is worried about the division. That's the main thing. Is winning the division and sealing up home field.
I'm not saying that's not the case now. I'm not saying that you guys are beneath us. I'm not saying that winning the division is not a priority. What I am telling you is that we're not as concerned with you guys as you are with us. We did not build our team to compete with you. You built your team to compete with us.
Well,
we built our team to compete for a Super Bowl.
That's what happens.
You guys are trying to exercise some non-playoff demons and lack of playoff wins.
I tell you what, though, Leo. For your sake, Leo, you better not lose that game to the Cowboys, because that could be the psych that screws up your whole season. With you turning around and having to play Kansas City the next week, and then the Rams and Tampa Bay. All of a sudden, that onslaught comes in there. And one thing your team does is they are not a fast starter.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say that too, Mark. You're right. We always start off slow. Look, Mark, let me ask you something. Which was the worst loss in comparison to losing to the Dallas Cowboys this year or us losing to the Atlanta Falcons last year? Because remember, you gave us hell. Remember that? Yeah. We shouldn't have lost that game, but y'all went in on us.
Oh, we go in on y'all every time you lose a game.
No. What's worse, losing to you guys this year or losing to the Atlanta Falcons?
If you lose to us week one,
to Atlanta Falcons, because you guys are a higher caliber team this year.
We're coming off of being an ass team with the new coach. You are the defending Super Bowl champions. If you lose to the Dallas Cowboys, you will be trashed.
Mark,
I don't know.
If we got trashed last year, look what happened.
Okay, Leo.
Leo, I don't know how many checks you just. Leo, I don't know how many checks you just were just in, but you better not bounce any one of them up. If one of them bounce, you better hide, because I'm gonna talk so much shit.
I'm serious.
You.
Don't let us win,
Thomas.
Towards you.
Is it more than last year?
Bounce. Them checks better not bounce, dog.
Is it more than last year?
Not bounce.
Yes, it would be more. Yes,
more than last year?
Yes. If you, Leo, hold it, Leo, if you lose this game where it is literally $700-800 in the nosebleed seats, this may be the biggest regular season game in history. It's your Super Bowl party. It's the Dallas Cowboys that are coming off an ass season. Okay. If you lose that game, that's the biggest embarrassment out there. You better not lose that game. That is knowing that you've got 3 playoff teams ahead of you the next 3 weeks.
We play 7 playoff teams this year.
No, I think you play 10.
10, okay, yeah.
You play 10 games against playoff teams because Washington is twice, of course.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I just said this in the comments. The slop that Eagles are eating ain't the steak we're going to eat. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Momo
Thomas, don't let me come on and silence you, son.
Eagles slapped 55 on you.
11-6.
Relax.
And you know what, Momo,
Relax.
you don't deserve to actually have. Listen, grown folks here talking. You even lost to Cooper Rush. Okay, your team lost to Cooper Rush, so I don't want to hear shit from you, Momo. You lost to Cooper Rush.
Just sit down. Momo, you need to be on iodine status.
I'm on my horse.
I think you should sit down too, Leo, because 55 was last year. This is this year.
This is a new year.
It's a new year.
Yeah, that's all he got to do. He just says at 55.
Boy,
you know, there used to be a Club 55 in DC, strip club.
The
Congratulations, Leo.
Super
Y'all
Bowl
won the Super
champions
Bowl.
need to
why
sit down.
Like
That's
y'all gonna win every game, every Super Bowl.
I'm sure when he has that, when your coach has that first meeting, he's gonna say, "Last year is last year. This is the new year, fellas." This is not the copy and paste. You can't just copy and paste and the same thing that happened last year. Go ahead.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I am comforted by the fact that we're going to. Our defense has a system that they've seen for the second year in a row. We're not going through the same thing.
Have you ever heard of this complacency? Your team is going to be overconfident going into that game.
Momo,
decimated.
You need to be on iodine status. Momo, you need to go. Momo,
you know this.
You need to go on iodine status. Just go up in the cut.
Yeah, the Eagles ain't used to winning like this.
Yeah.
So I was you. I'll call my
we've been to the Super Bowl twice in the last 3 years, and you tell
I say y'all not used to winning. Oh, come on, man. Now used to win. Doesn't matter how many Super Bowls y'all won the last 2 years.
You're not used to winning.
I don't care about that. I'm saying
it's very difficult for me to take that.
It might be embarrassing. Maybe
it is difficult to hear that coming from a Sanders fan who just had a good year last year, and then we slapped 55.
I sure am talking my mess. I got
and your quarterback is about to hit.
I'm doing the same thing you doing, Leo. I'm talking my shit, and you popping your shit. So we both in the same ball park, aren't we? We talking that shit, right? But we had a winning season.
We're not. Look behind me. We are not the same. No,
actually, we are.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Come on.
Turn that head around. Make it an upside down smile, because you're gonna be frowning a lot this season.
Momo, look behind me. That's what you're talking to.
Revert back to Washington. It's gonna be fun.
Momo, yeah, Momo. No, don't do that, please.
Yep,
don't,
the Commanders rear their head every once in a while.
Hey, Mark.
Once every 10 years.
I wouldn't talk neither, Mark.
We got RG.
Why are you talking, Mark?
Why am I talking?
Can we be friends? Why can't we?
Why am I talking? It's my damn channel, mother.
Right,
I'll just add this little thing. Who was the last team in the division to go back-to-back in Super Bowls?
Nobody.
Cowboys.
Yes, there was.
The
Cowboys.
1993.
Yeah, Cowboys. Yeah, that was like 33 years ago.
Okay, but who did we face?
And y'all had 33 years and still ain't did it.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, like we're not the same. What are you doing?
So wait a minute. Hold on. So wait a minute. Let me see if I got this straight. We won as many Super Bowls in 2 seasons that it took your team. How many years y'all been in the NFL?
Yes, you did. Yes,
okay.
you did, Mark.
I'm just checking.
Yep, you have 5 Super Bowls and we only have 2.
But I know, I forgot. Ours don't count. They don't count. But your world championships do.
1.5.
I am 50 years old this year, right? I turned 50 in February.
Shit's gonna start falling off of you.
And yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get momentum to get out of the bed.
Momo 55-23. Shut the hell up. We are NFC East daddies.
Okay. Disrespectful. Okay, hold on. Let me address this mother sucker on here.
Okay.
Watch out.
Hold on.
Incoming.
I just want to stress.
Are y'all beating the Chiefs
I just
this
want to
year?
say what I got to say and get it over with. And
Wait. I gotta
my tonsils.
Randy, step away.
Drew, everywhere you go, you try to trash me. Stop doing that, Drew. Get a life. Because you a closet Cowboy fan. Because you go on every Cowboy on page. So stop talking about what I do. 55-23. Yes, y'all blew us out. That's old news. No, that's 2 nickels. That's 2 quarters. That's 2 quarters and a nickel. Get over yourself.
Damn.
Momo, that happened.
Shout out to Rodney Subway. I'm sorry I didn't see the chat over there on that one. Got you covered. Thank you.
So it's and the season's gonna start in 3.5 months, 4 months, whatever this starts.
109 days, 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 10 seconds from now.
There you go.
I got the clock going right now for you guys.
And when that clock strikes 0, it's not you, it's us.
Okay, so Leo, let me ask you this then.
Philadelphia and Dallas.
Let me ask you this, Leo.
Yes,
Who
sir.
are your San Francisco 49ers?
Oh man.
Who are our San Francisco 49ers?
We had to face them 4 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. In the playoffs.
Championship game.
And
Who's
you
your
lost.
San Francisco?
Once.
No, we won 2 out of the 3 championships.
Oh, wait a minute. You talking about Super Bowls?
I'm talking about in the NFC.
Conference
I'm talking about the
championship.
NFC championship. Who is your San Francisco?
Oh, there's not
The
one.
Dallas Cowboys.
No, I'm. Wait a minute.
There
The
isn't
Dallas
one.
Cowboys, because the last 5 years we have given you the hardest time of any team in the NFC.
Yeah.
There you go.
The year y'all went to
Outside
the
of the
Super Bowl
Rams.
against Kansas City, we 40-burgered y'all. We 40-burgered y'all. No one else did.
Yeah, that's true.
Y'all cruised straight to the Super Bowl that year, and we laid it on y'all that year.
Is that the year we won or the year we lost?
You lost to Kansas City.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Lost Kansas City in the desert.
Okay.
See,
So
that's what I'm getting to. This is
won it. We swept them.
this
And
is
not
what
talking
I'm
about
getting
Kansas
to.
City. I'm talking about in the NFC. The Cowboys are
Yes.
y'all's obstacle because we are in your division.
So the answer is Dallas is our 49ers.
Yeah, who do you
because when y'all play the
who do you
49ers, you
face?
kick the shit out of them.
Well,
Who do
I
you-
saw an interesting
who do you
tape.
face?
Cowboys are
like
the only
3 years
team-
in a row.
When we are healthy, the Cowboys are the only team you are not kicking the shit out of in the NFC.
That's true. And you have to admit that.
And
Yeah,
that's-
you guys don't have a San Francisco like we did in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No one.
I'm just saying, Leo, y'all run through every other NFC team besides the Cowboys.
Actually, you have to think about how the 90s used to be, besides the Eagles being ass, was you also had a good Giants team and a good Commanders team. Both of those
Not
two
to
were
mention the
juggernauts.
49ers.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby,
Because
that's
it
what
was
I'm talking
literally
You had the
3 years in a row where you had an NFC East team in the Super Bowl, except for Philly.
Our division is going to be more competitive than people think.
I think so.
Yeah, it's
too.
gonna be.
I think
Yeah,
all
don't
the way
forget-
across the board. I think the Giants are going to be good. The left hands are going to be good. The Eagles
I mean,
are going to be good. and we're
because
gonna be
Leo,
good, I
y'all
think.
killed the 49ers.
Oh yeah, they
Every
put-
team in the NFC you have literally just beat the crap out of.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They put Mr.
You know, the Rams
Irrelevant.
put up a damn good fight. They maybe could have
Yes,
won
they
that game
did.
against y'all.
Yeah, they could have ruined our season, yes. But again, San Fran marched Mr. Irrelevant in front of a bunch of goons. That was not supposed
Half
to.
the players was out, Leo. What the hell you talking about? They was hurt.
Didn't we like? smack the crap out of
I just
Mr.
said that they put
Irrelevant, dude?
Mr. Irrelevant in front of a bunch of goons.
They're not goons.
What do you
think in that season, the only team
they were threatening Mark. I mean, Momo. They were getting ready to they were threatening to break the record for sacks. That was a goon squad.
Yeah, and that season right there, Leo, I think the Cowboys were the only team that beat y'all soundly one game.
Yeah, and it didn't, but we still went to the Super Bowl.
I understand. What I'm trying to tell you is you're saying who's your 49ers? It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Troy told me that. Troy just said it. Yeah, from the 90s. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
He's still
no present day. Present day we give you props.
What are we doing?
Present day we give you props. Leo, you ain't gonna sweep us this year. It ain't gonna happen.
Okay. Hey, we'll find out week 1 and week 12. And to you and just so you know, I'm gonna say it back to you so that you guys will feel like I did hear what you're saying. And what you're telling me is that we better not lose week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys, because if we do, you know what I'm saying, then we're not going to hear the end of it until we have another chance, which is week 12, right?
Well, no, the way everybody is going through, like, there's no chance in hell that the Cowboys can win, because I'm hearing people say, well, they could start out 1-3. You know, and just basically look past the Cowboys and say you could lose to Kansas City, the Rams, and Tampa Bay.
Come on, Mark. Listen, I get it. I hear y'all, but Mark, listen, they're lifting the Super Bowl thing that day in Philadelphia, and it's y'all at the link. Like,
the Giants were lifting the trophy in New York, and the Cowboys were there too.
Say that again?
Leo, I would like
the Giants were lifting the trophy in New York, and the Cowboys. I was there. I was there, Leo.
You are literally acting like the Cowboys haven't beaten y'all lately.
No. I am acting. No. I am acting like
I will,
Jimbo. The first game is the home opener. We're raising our Super Bowl banners to the rafters, and we got to play y'all. You like you I don't know if you guys really understand the magnitude of what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Leo, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if y'all won. I would also not be surprised if the Cowboys went in there and beat the shit out of y'all.
Exactly, me too.
Okay, Leo, I would say this.
You and Mark witnessed with your own.
Actually, shout out to Hingsburg.
In any championship year, when the team comes back and they got the championship banner, they normally lose that game.
Now, let me put another one out here for you, because September 4th, shout out to Hellsberg, who reminded me of this. That's Dak Prescott's mother's birthday.
Mine too.
That's Dak Prescott's mother's birthday.
Hey, listen,
you talk about motivating.
Whatever motivation y'all need, y'all going to get all the motivation y'all going to need, because you're going to need it.
Yeah,
you're definitely Mark, and you know it. You saw that defense with your own eyes.
That was last year's, bro. I saw San Francisco's the year before go all the way to the Super Bowl and crash and burn.
Go to that game. You were at the we went into
with Cooper Rush,
and you saw
with Cooper Rush
did to you.
With Cooper Rush.
Okay,
Leo, the Cowboys and Eagles are used to playing against each other. I don't think the players are much worried about playing in division.
I don't think so either, bro. I mean, first of all, I think our division is. I think we're going to beat up on each other. I wouldn't be surprised if we mess around and end up splitting the season like we normally do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
That's about
I really wouldn't be
division
surprised.
Game.
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up splitting with the Commanders, because we always split with the Commanders. They always have something on us. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Commanders are like Green Bay to y'all.
No, they're like when you step on dog shit and you get it stuck in your shoes and you can't get it off.
I'm just
you're walking around and it stinks.
Yeah, all I'm saying is come on, fellas. Like, are y'all serious?
Get ready for the
first game.
Get ready. Guarantee one thing.
You guys should not want to play. I ain't gonna lie. my disappointment with playing you guys for the first game is that I could think of a couple of other teams that would make a better first game than the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion. I would really like to see us play Washington the first game. I would like to see us open up against Kansas City. I could see us going against Detroit. That would be a good first game.
Nobody wanted to see that.
I could think and see your downfall, Leo. Leo, your downfall is right there. I could see us having a better game. See that arrogance and all that.
I said not having a better. I can think of a better game.
So you wanted to play
quality. Yeah, I wanted to.
You wanted to play Washington, the team you just blew out the last time.
Right, because I listened
so you can win easier.
The Cowboys, Eagles.
Reginald Johnson, Cooper Rush does not beat the Eagles, bro.
Play Detroit.
Okay, let's be clear here.
The what ifs.
Cooper Rush has not beaten the Eagles. Cooper Rush's games against the Eagles.
I don't look, bro.
He threw 3 interceptions in his first start with 1 TD.
Look,
the second time he started,
film I seen on Dak Prescott was
no TDs, no interceptions. So don't come in here and talk some stupid shit and make up lies. Cooper Rush literally has been ass against the Eagles. 2 TD passes and 5 interceptions in 3 games that were 3 losses. So what crack are you smoking, bro? What crack are you smoking?
You talking to me?
No, so this guy here, he's like, you act like Cooper Rush ain't beat us before. Bro.
Yeah, you the only Philadelphia Eagle fan on this panel. Yeah, we talking to your crack smoking ass. Oh,
crack smoking.
Okay. This is where I jump off the train because y'all start sounding like a bunch of dun-dun-dun-duns.
Dun-dun-dun-dun to you. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Right now, all I'm saying is that I just think that it would have been to Derek, and I was trying to make this point with Derek, is just that based off of all of the what ifs from last year, I just thought Kansas City, even Washington or Detroit would have been a better game for me. You know what I'm saying? Not putting anything against, not saying anything against the Cowboys. It's just that like we always play y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay, well you always play Washington. So the Cowboys have had for all the teams in our division, I believe the Cowboys have had more success against you. That's a better measuring stick.
But my reasoning for Washington was because of all the things that I hear Washington Commander fans saying about Jaden Daniels and the fact that we just played them in the NFC Championship game. My reasoning for saying Detroit is because of all the things that the what ifs that I heard about Detroit. My reasoning for saying Kansas City, we got them week 2, but from a home opener, that would have been a real nice little, mud in your eye because we just played them in the Super Bowl.
Okay. In other words, the Cowboys aren't worthy enough to be able to play you. It's a letdown for you to have to face the lowly Cowboys that weren't in the playoffs last year.
When we talk, yes.
Oh,
yes, exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yes, because and then when you throw in the fact that look at the last bit of film we have on Dak Prescott last year before he went down. It wasn't like he was burnt. It's not like he was tearing up the league when he went out. I mean, damn, he was having a shitty year before he even got hurt.
Oh my God!
That's because we didn't have anything.
We were rushing 51 yards in a game. 51 yards, 2 rookie offensive linemen, no second wide receiver, a defense that literally could not get another team off the field. And the only thing you're going to say is, well, Dak wasn't doing shit. Nobody was doing shit on that team, bro.
Bro, again, with your additions, don't make it even more exciting for me.
Oh, I think it will.
If a team, okay, you know what? If a team signed
not to mention, we've got 3 good players coming off of injury this year.
I will say this, Leo. If Dak does play I will say this: with all the additions we've had, if Dak plays suspect the first 6-7 games, then I'm gonna have to agree with you, Leo. I'm gonna have to agree with you. And he's falling off.
Walker.
Especially with the 2 wide receivers we got. If Dak is playing suspect in 7 weeks into the season, we got problems. We got big problems.
Walker. I'm just saying, I would have been more excited for the first game with us lifting the banners and the rafters, playing those other teams than the Dallas Cowboys. Now, don't get me wrong. I do take some solace in the fact that just like it would be mud in their eyes, it'll also be mud in your eyes that you guys have to sit there and watch us do something that y'all
Kid Cowboy. I'm not hating on Cooper Rush, but you can't look and say Cooper Rush is a really top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, you can't. There's nothing there that says Cooper Rush is a top 5 quarterback, regardless of what Skip Bayless says. Okay, he is a backup quarterback.
You guys aren't even America's team anymore. Nobody cares about you.
Apparently somebody does, because this already. When was the last time you saw upper level standing room only seats for $500 at your stadium?
The last time we won the Super Bowl, the first game when we won the Super Bowl.
I don't think so.
Bro,
this is going to be the biggest non-Super Bowl game watched ever.
Mark, who has more primetime games?
Mark, I'm sorry.
It's
Dallas Cowboys.
It's not.
Dallas got more primetime.
And here's where see. You know what? I'm going to put it out here.
As excited.
I'm going to give you conspiracy theory. Apparently, the NFL doesn't think the Cowboys are going to be as bad as they were last year. You know why? We saw how bad the Cowboys were as far as a draw last year. After we lost to you, there was talk of taking Cowboys out of prime time. If your team is thinking that they're going to be that bad this year, why would you put them on 4 Thursday night games? Why would you end up having them having the most primetime games in the NFL? And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. I feel like this is actually going to be a Cowboys year. And I don't want to say that I think that Jerry Jones is short on time, but I'm seeing the Cowboys make moves that they don't normally do.
Mark, and I think that's great for you guys. And if that's what you want to concentrate on, and if the number of primetime games is that important to you, that's fine.
No. You missed the point. Listen to what I'm saying. If you're the NFL and you think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to get blown out each one of these games, then why the hell are you putting them out there?
Because the fan base.
The fan base checked out, bro.
Hey, Mark.
The fan base checked out. Literally, my views from December last year versus the year before were cut in half. Cowboy fans weren't going to those games. So Cowboy fans were like, F this team, I'm done.
I'm surprised, Leo,
why,
as much as you are.
Why would the NFL put them on there if they think the Cowboys are going to be that bad?
We got the many games as we have. I'm shocked about that.
On primetime,
I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? Because we were garbage last year.
No, because you know what that's about? That's about
what, man?
The NFL
I'm like this.
And the powers that be. They love the Cowboys, no matter they have an old 16.
They didn't last year,
they
bro.
Will always have the Cowboys have more games primetime. Condemning Kansas City, they will have. They will definitely have Kansas City. Shouldn't have all these primetime games.
The number of primetime games
sounds like America's team to me, but y'all.
Okay, you know what?
And Kansas City must be America's.
You guys are American.
They get just as many.
If the primetime games measuring stick, that's fine. I'm more worried about Super Bowl. You guys can concentrate on the primetime games. I'm more worried about getting to the Super Bowl.
I want people to think we're going to suck. I really do. I don't want people. I don't want to go in there as to being the favorites. I want us to be the team that everyone thinks are going to get their heads kicked in. That's what I want.
And here's the thing,
because hopefully that'll fire up the players.
I'll say this. Y'all better do good on those 7 or 8 or whatever primetime games, because if you don't, you'll be getting.
You're gonna get trashed.
America will be watching y'all.
We'll get roasted.
Asses whooped.
I'm sure Stephen A's already got his speech prepared, ready to go.
Yep.
He does.
So
all those guys are already practicing what they're.
Yeah. So that's a double-edged sword. You got to always look at both sides of that take. Like, okay, you guys
Leo,
got 8.
Ask you a question. Do you think Kansas City should get more primetime games than the Eagles?
When?
I don't know. I don't. It's not. It doesn't matter to me.
I mean, I'm just saying they got a hell of a lot of prime time. They did. I don't think they made their team better.
TV is a business, though.
Considering the way it is, the
TV
AFC
is a
teams being
business.
CBS most of the time and Fox.
They're two-time defending Super Bowl. They're two-time Super Bowl champions.
Doesn't
Just
matter
went to the
if
Super Bowl for the
if your
third
team
time.
ain't got better.
The TV is a business. They're not about, that team was great last year, let's put them up. No, it's about who's going to get the higher ratings so I can sell the most for ads.
And again,
you want to.
And again, that's fine. That's all fine. I'm not concerned with that. I don't really like the number of primetime games. I could care less. All I care about is health, getting to the playoffs and winning. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Those are my main things. I just said that I'm not as excited to play you guys game one as you guys are.
I tell you what, Leo. Okay, here I want to give. This is Jobu Sports. This is just a thought that I have that nobody has actually talked about here. So I want you to think about this. Now, listen to what the Cowboys have. Now we could lose the first game to you. That's not. I mean, that wouldn't be a surprise. It is on your turf. You are the Super Bowl defending champions. We got a new coach and stuff, right? We of course got to play you. Then we play the Giants. We play the Bears. We play the Packers, okay? I think the Cowboys should be able to go at least 2-2, right? You got the Jets. You got the Panthers. Then you've got Washington, which a team that Cooper Rush did beat last year. And then you go to Denver, where it's not going to be really, really cold. You got the Cardinals. You got the bye week. And then you got the Raiders. Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. How many of those games, other than the Eagles, do you look at and say they're just brutal? Right?
You talking on our schedule, right?
No, that's the Cowboys. That's the first. We play you. Let me go back. Let me do it again. We play you, then we follow up with the Giants and the Bears. Green Bay will be really tough, but then we have the Jets. We got the Panthers. Then we have Washington, which, that's a tough game. We got the Broncos, the Cardinals, our bye week. Hold on. Wait. The bye week, the Raiders, and then the Eagles. The Eagles, before they play the Cowboys, let's go through what you got to go through.
You talk about before week 12.
Before week 12. Okay,
right.
You got to play us.
Brutal.
Then you got to get beat down by the Chiefs. You got to play the Rams, the Buccaneers, Denver. Then you get a bye week with the Giants. But then you got to turn around against the Vikings, the Giants, the Packers, the Lions, and then you got to travel to Dallas. You guys might be beat the hell up by the time you come back around to Dallas.
Take another look at that schedule too, Mark.
What's that?
All right. Look at how many of those games are we going to be coming off of mini buys.
Mini buys? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that don't mean nothing.
Okay, but what I'm saying is you're playing Murderer's Row to start out. You're going to get you're playing the Lions before you play the Cowboys. We are coming off a bye week playing the Raiders and then playing you. That's a little bit of and that's an advantage for the Cowboys right there.
Yeah.
We're not getting beat the hell up. Now, from that point on, it's hell for the Cowboys.
Now, answer me this, and this is for all of y'all. Would you at least would you agree that it would be a very Cowboy-like thing to fuck that up?
Oh, I mean, anything could happen. What I'm saying is
yes or no? Wouldn't that be a very Cowboy-like thing to
play down our competition?
You just don't know.
We've done
but the thing is
first of all, the Cowboys done that beating the Denver Broncos because Denver's a better team. They got
I'm not saying
better quarterback.
Okay, Momo.
Definitely beat Chicago because Chicago got a better team.
Oh hell, nah, bro. I'm not gonna give you that one. Not gonna give you that one.
Better.
They got a new coach too, bro.
Chicago's unproven. They're building.
We'll see.
Sorry. Okay. Point being, Momo, you're missing. Momo, you're missing the point of that. I'm saying every week is put up or shut up for the Eagles, except for 2 games, and that's the 2 Giant games. Every one of the other games between between the Cowboys and that is a playoff team. Home, away, home, away, home, away. That is going to beat them down. And understand that they're coming off the longest season, the shortest off season, because they played in the Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is, by the time they get to us, they may be half worn out. We got a bye week, the Raiders and then the Eagles. They got the Packers while we're on the bye week, followed up by the Lions, and then us in Dallas. If you don't look at that and say that's not harder than us having a bye week and then the Raiders, bro, I'm sorry. I look at that and say, if you can figure out a way to win that one, you're playing with house money.
And that will be the thing that would ultimately win the respect factor
now,
for you.
And also put into this, by that point, you're probably getting back Overshown and Diggs.
In the middle of the season.
I wouldn't brag about Diggs too much more.
It's still another body that's experienced.
Right,
okay. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Momo calling out herpes again.
If you believe that Diggs is this great cornerback, okay, fine. He could cover everybody over the field. Okay, fine.
Okay. You know what? I'll take him over not having him.
I take him over.
Okay.
Okay. What about the other kid? What's about the other kid?
Overshown?
I thought he was good too.
Okay, all right. Okay, I get. I know you're not talking about defense, which is as bad as your defense is right now.
I'm not. But I'm asking about what's the other kid name who broke the record for most pick sixes? What's his name?
Deron Bland.
So is he? So you got him, right?
Yeah,
we got him. Yes, he's a pick man. And here's the thing that's funny to me. No. Here's the thing that's funny to me, because sometimes you need guys that have a specialty. Right. And you want to be able to exploit him. That is a guy, Deron Bland, who is always around the ball making plays. So it's up to my job to find some other guys that can be a shutdown corner so he can be out here being a center fielder. That's the kind of thing. So you
could cover receivers man for man, right?
You use a person's talents.
Right.
To maximize it. You don't I'm going to give you one here, Momo, because you had the greatest person who understand using the talent that they had.
Right.
And that was Joe Gibbs, because Joe Gibbs came from Air Coryell, which was like the first modern offense. We're slinging the ball down the field. Screw the running back. He came to Washington and didn't have that kind of quarterback and didn't have that kind of running back. And he came up and said, well, I got a bruising running back. I got some big offensive linemen, and came up with the H-back and the one-back offense and rode that shit to 3 Super Bowls. That was taking the talent that you have and saying, here's a guy that does something great. I'm going to maximize that and work my system around the players that I have. The problem with the Cowboys with Jason Garrett was he'd always say, that's not how we do things around here. They had a guy like Rico Gathers, who was a tight end, who could jump out the building. He was slender. He could run like a freaking gazelle. Well, that's great. We understand that you can do that, but we want you to put on weight and be able to block. Once he put on the weight, he could no longer run, jump, or anything else, and he wasn't a great blocker. That's the guy you say, okay, we got 15 plays for you where you're going to be in the corner of the end zone to jump up and get the damn football. You take the players that you have, you go through and say, well, he may be great doing that, but screw that, he has to do this. That's the crap that the Joneses have been doing with players. We get a guy that does something really good and say, well, we know you were great on the right side, but we're going to make you a left tackle. The fuck are you doing? If you're already great at doing it on the right, why am I changing you to the left? Let me take you, do what you do great, and I'll find somebody that needs to be over there.
Mark,
stop being a mad scientist.
So you think that hurt the locker room, the culture in the locker room, the players that just gave up at some point?
Dak.
If they did that. If you do that and constantly keep doing that to players,
well, how you blame that on Dak?
I don't think that's a thing.
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think.
All right. See, for example, they took Tyler Guyton, who was a right tackle in college, only had like 13 starts in his career. You get drafted. Okay, we're going to take you from the right side. We're going to put you at left tackle, and now you got to get used to the speed of the NFL and reverse everything that you've learned in the only 13 games you had. You're going to create a problem. Now, Cooper Beebe had only played center 2 or 3 games before he became the Cowboys center. He had been basically a guard and a tackle. Now, that one worked out. But they did the same thing with Lyle Collins. They took him from being a great guard to say you're going to be a tackle. And you create these learning curves where I'm not sure it's the best thing to do. Now, it worked out with Micah Parsons out of necessity that he's a great edge rusher. But you keep going through, and it's like, oh, well, Micah Parsons sucks because he can't stop the run. Bro, how many people can do what the hell he does as an edge rusher? Not a lot.
Well, it all depends on these new rules they're supposed to come out with.
I wish they would just use the old rules, like holding that happens to him at least 3 or 4 times a game. How about that one?
Well, we'll see what happens because when we go in these new rules, they might say have a stupid rule. Hey, you cannot tackle the wide receiver anymore. Probably do that bullshit.
Mark, I just want you to know that there's no R in Washington.
Okay, I got you. 11-6, baby, all day. That's all I'm gonna say.
6-11.
Well, here's one for you, Leo. You got 31 other teams that are gunning for you, so don't forget that.
Yeah,
Troy, say that to someone who doesn't know what it's like to have won a Super Bowl recently. It's not like we didn't have that.
Okay. All right. We've been going on for over 2 hours now. It's time to end this shit. Okay.
Oh, just 2 hours? Man, we got at least
no, we got at least 2 more hours to go.
I ain't gonna lie, this is the fastest 2 hours I've been a part of. Well, really,
Hit the likes, everybody.
You know, so
I'm gonna stick by my guns and say that we're gonna go 10-7 at best. I'm not gonna overhype us.
I see 9 wins for the Cowboys.
10-7 at our best.
I'm going 12.
I see 7 or 8 wins for the Eagles. Best.
I'm going 12-5.
Say what, Momo? What did you just say? What did you say that again?
Man.
7 or 8 wins at best.
For who? The Cowboys?
For the Eagles?
For the Eagles, because I think they can lose a lot of games. Y'all got a really tough schedule.
Momo, listen to me very carefully, bro. It's very when you say stuff like that, it makes it very difficult to take you seriously. Is this one of your jokes again? Are you
no,
remember
I
you
don't
just said,
believe. I think Jalen Hurts going to throw over 20 interceptions this year because he's going to have to throw the ball more.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm shocked that we even won 7 games last year with what we had.
I don't know.
But you know what, though? We were with Baltimore. It was 28-24. Or no, 28-25. We almost beat Baltimore. We almost beat Cincinnati. All right. Well, anyway, we gonna get up out of here.
All right, peace, everybody.
Everybody, I appreciate everybody being here.
That camera, so I'm gonna start streaming.
Mark, just so you know, I'm thinking more like 12-5, 13-4.
12-5,
13-4.
With all that.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, we getting out of here, everybody. Hold on, we're turning out the lights on Leo now.
Don't forget, Mark, those playoffs are just as concerned with playing us. And remember what we did to Kansas City.
That was last year. This is this year.
That was 4 months ago.